welcome to Talk Our Podcast, Eric. How are you today, sir?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
Doing amazing.
Doing great, man. Doing great. I've been excited about this show, man. I'm a huge fan. I think you know that. I'm the guy always in your content, liking every single thing you put up. I watch damn near all of your videos on all the different platforms that you do, man.
I appreciate
yeah. How you feeling today, man? Is everything good in Miami? Because I look, man, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous you're in Miami. I'm not.
I am.
I'm not.
I'll just say it.
the energy, the vibrations, and the energy is high in Miami today and every other day. It's good down here, man. Environment, is wonderful, and I love this little area of the world. It's cool.
I am going to come. I'm coming down there, bro. I'm gonna crash whatever you got going on one night, and we're gonna hang out.
100%, man. Waiting on you.
Do you come to Indiana much or the Midwest? I seen you was just in the Midwest. You wasn't in Indiana, was you?
I was close, but not in Indiana.
Okay, yeah.
I've actually never been to Indiana, but I know, over the last couple of years, I've heard more and more, and some people that I know have started treatment centers out there. And I don't know too many people out there besides you, but I know a couple. And it sounds like there's a growing and solid recovery movement and a growing addiction treatment industry there. And it sounds like Indiana's busy.
Yeah, man, there definitely is. I tell you, I've been in, my July 1st, I will have 8 years. And I tell you, it has changed dramatically. As far as recovery communities, in almost every town and every city has just dramatic. When I first came out about recovery, and I had like a year sober, and I started talking about my recovery, and boy, it was shunned upon, 8-9 years ago. You can't talk about recovery on the interweb, and it's just really good, and I'm really happy that people are being loud about recovery nowadays, man. It's amazing. It started a whole movement,
Yeah, no, you're spot on with that. So 8 years ago, you got sober in what, 2014?
Correct.
It's crazy, man. God bless.
Thank you.
I got sober in 2006.
Dang.
And,
Congratulations, man.
Dang.
yeah, no, thank you. And I fully understand the change. And the last 8 years have been dramatic. And the 7 years before that I was around, even the recovery movement was different. When you look at, like, when I got here, recovery looked like middle-aged, where I was from in New Hampshire, right? Which is, I think demographically is very similar to a lot of areas in the Midwest, Indiana included. It's blue collar, salt of the earth people, lots of heroin, that type of shit. Yep. And you walked into the meetings, and I was, a couple months shy of 22 years old. I started shooting heroin at 15, and an Oxycontin habit at 14 years old. And there wasn't really another heroin addict that was sober, like, in the recovery community, and no one near my age. And so even my first home group, was me and a bunch of people that were at least 20 years older than me. Yeah. And it was a men's meeting. It was like 60 dudes. We got together every Monday night, and everyone was dramatically older. And so I've seen the evolution of the recovery community get younger. Recovery becoming mainstream, becoming a popular thing. Even the boom of the addiction treatment industry. I mean, when I got sober in 2006, it wasn't until 2011 that the Affordable Care Act came out, which mandated parity, that every insurance policy even had a benefit for addiction treatment. So back then, there was barely any treatment centers. I mean, you detoxed in hospitals, jail, or on a couch, rocking and rolling, frequently. Yeah, and that's how I got it. I've been a treatment plenty of times, but this time around, that's how it went down.
I want to say that too, because when I first got into recovery and I was going to meetings, and I work. I'm an alcoholic. I'm an everything, right? I'm a dumpster. So I used everything, but I thought since I used everything, I had to go to this specific type of meeting, and I would go in there, and I just didn't feel right in there because nobody was talking about solutions. And, I was at the age of 35 at this point, and I really realized that, like, okay, I got to get serious about this. It's life or death for me. Either this is my last shot, I got to try this, and this is the only thing I haven't tried. I tried all the other ways to get sober. None of it worked for me. I tried this way. I have to try this way. Well, I would go into these Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and there was the guys that had 30 years sober, 30 years sober, and the guys that had 30 minutes, and there was no in between. And there wasn't. And what really ticked me off, and I started speaking about this loudly and getting upset in meetings, is those guys with 30 minutes sober, the guys with 30 years weren't grabbing these people up and hugging them because they looked different, because they were different, and I really hated that. And it drove me crazy enough to where the majority of people that were in my boat said, F this isn't for me, and they'd walk out and never come back. Whereas I took it the other route, and I'm like speaking to these older cats, like, hey guys, like this is what you guys are telling us that we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be the hand that reaches out and pulls these guys in, and you're not doing that because they look different than you. They got flat bills, they got Jordans on, they got, you know what I mean? And I just couldn't understand that. And slowly it started to happen with everything that was happening around this community. And it was a truly profound thing to watch all these old cats, we call them crusty old men in these meetings. Now I'm one of them, but whatever. And to watch them finally open up and say, you know what, you're right. And then you look back now, and all these old guys are sponsoring all these new young guys, and it's just really, it's profound. It's amazing to watch, because that's what I believe why we have people with 3 years, 5 years, 10 years now, because of that.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's what this is about.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right in it, man, because I want everybody to know, because like I said, I'm a huge fan. I watch what you do. Like, as you know, I'm a co-founder of a treatment facility, of 3 of them actually, and I got 5 recovery homes. And, and while we talk a lot about purpose, right? And while I know deep in my soul that that's my purpose, to help other people, I do also. I'm getting into the business aspect of my life, and I'm really attached to real estate. I'm really like drawn to buy something cheap and then remodel it and redo it and sell it. I don't know what it is about houses and commercial real estate I'm just drawn to, which really draws me to you. So I want everybody to know basically who you are, where you started. I know you started a whole revolution with the help of others. You started a whole revolution in your hometown, and I think everybody needs to know about that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I grew up in a town called Salem, New Hampshire. It's really a suburb of Boston. It's like 35, 40 minutes north of the city, right on the Massachusetts line. My home growing up before my parents split was loud and had a lot of loud going on there, and not a lot of peace. And my parents split up in 5th grade, and I started messing around with booze and weed. I started selling weed. I got caught for the first time. I've always been I laugh. I always say I've always been an entrepreneur. I got caught in my first drug sales charge. I was 10 years old, 5th grade, North Salem Elementary School.
Wow.
Yeah, I was riding around on a Huffy. I had a Discman in my pocket with big ass headphones, listen to, the Loonies and Biggie Smalls and, Tupac, Me Against the World when that came out, packing a CO2 pellet gun, and some older I swear to God, this is real life. And some older kids in the neighborhood, would started fronting me ounces and then quarter pounds of that brick swag weed, real cheap shit.
I remember it with the seeds and the stems and shit.
Ding, 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 ding.
I remember it.
And that's really where it started for me. And I was selling joints and dimes and shit in elementary school, and I got busted doing that, and then started drinking, and then ecstasy, and then all the party drugs and the rave scene, and then Oxycontin. I was 14, probably close to 15 years old, and a kid I've been friends with my whole life came over. And at that point, it was just me and my dad. My mom had taken off, and it was me and him living in a modest little house, and my room was in the basement. And he broke up a 40 milligram OC on no bullshit on Eminem's CD case, the Slim Shady LP.
Well,
And
hold on though. Like OxyContin, this is back in what year? Huh?
99,
99.
99.
Wow. Okay. This is before they actually hit the scene.
Pioneer of the fucking opioid epidemic, man. I was going into the hood copping heroin, and even the Dominicans were looking at me like, the fuck are you doing here? It was like new for them, and we were some of the first white kids, suburban white kids, to become heroin addicts. We were in my area. Me and my friends were the very first ones to shoot dope and to get an oxy habit, and to like that whole opiate, heroin culture, fucking shit. Like no one did it before us.
I don't think, I mean, literally across the board, talking to a lot of people on their timelines, like this is a year that this is the 99. This is the earliest I've heard of. Like
It was like
OCs.
95 to 98 when the medication became like a thing. And then I think it started getting pushed real hard come in that range. So you literally were like in the beginning of the big medical push on the doctors, which is
Big pharma.
it's crazy though. Like to think about that, right? Like as addicts, we can find anything, right? We find a way to escape no matter what. I can make fucking Advil dangerous if I really feel like it. And so to be that early on is pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
But I feel like something at some point in your mind shifted. And I feel like as somebody that is going on myself 5 years, there was something pretty severe with that shift in me when it was like I went from that obsession to like, nope, like I'm done. And it was something that it was more than a spiritual awakening for me. So what was it for you? Because you've gone from like that shift to a whole different level.
I mean, dude, almost 7 years, 6 years and change, almost 7 years of shooting heroin, shooting coke, eating Xanax, and pounded vodka will just kick your ass. Yeah, that long of living the life we live, man, it'll just beat you down. I mean, the book talks about incomprehensible demoralization, right? And it started off fun, it started off a party, it started off with a lot of people, and then the world just starts getting smaller. You know what I mean? You break the hearts of the people that love you. Every time you see, the most important people to you, mine was like my dad, and they just look at you with that like shame about you in their eyes, and like you could tell they're just so fucking embarrassed you're their kid, and throw you out into the street, and which well deservingly was where I should have been, and being in and out of there and making the papers and getting in trouble, and just lying on top of my lies to cover my lies, and then lying some more, and and waking up every day chasing $40, $100, $200, scamming this, lying that, stealing this, selling that, get the money, get the dope, do the dope, start getting sick again. Just like no peace, no fucking peace. Never just like, chill. Like it just life is a goddamn war zone.
Don't you think though, every time like you're going, you face that morning of sickness, and then you're going to get a bag that you're just, you're just hoping, like the whole purpose for me was to get that bag. And then my idea was I would just chill. And that never once happened. There was never any chill because it was never enough, you know?
No.
I just wanted that one shot of peace,
So
Yeah,
many
but you know,
describe addiction. One of them is just exhausting.
Yeah.
It's just so tiring, And so, sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I was talking about like it becomes like a more than a full-time job. Like it becomes life where as soon as you do that dope, now you're stressing about running out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
oh crap, now half of it's gone, which means I got to start planning already. So before you can even get into that, like I got high once and then I chased it until I stopped. That's how I felt. Like I really got the enjoyable high one time and then I chased it until I finally was over it.
Yeah.
100%, And so you fast forward that to, December 6th of 2006, I was like 140 pounds. I just got out of jail in Cumberland County, Portland, Maine. I had been up there for a couple of years, in and out of programs and homelessness. running the streets hard. And it's a very long story, but in a desperate drug deal gone bad where a kid, was trying to buy a couple bags of dope and I was dope sick and didn't have any dope to sell him, but he didn't know that. I pulled out a knife and I robbed him. In that, he struggled. It gave him, they said I cut his throat, but it was a superficial scratch really
Yeah.
on his throat, but the paperwork seemed really bad. And the next morning I was just done, dude. Like I was looking at a football score. If I got caught for that, I was gonna do a long fuck. Maine does not play with their sentencing, and I was looking at a long time, and they locked the neighborhood. I ran away, and the police had locked the neighborhood down, and all this crazy shit. And the next morning was December 7th of 2006. I woke up early. I'd only slept a couple hours. I took off, and I ran back to New Hampshire, and I've been sober ever since that day. And what's funny about that, and it changed my entire perspective early on, was one of those old crusty guys, in the meetings. They actually say some pretty cool shit if you listen. And
Absolutely.
one guy looked at me and said, Eric, do you think it's possible that God used that situation to separate you from heroin and other drugs?
Wow.
And I was just like, damn. And so, I stopped at that point saying that I got sober on December 7th of 2006. And instead I say that, God separated me from heroin, cocaine, and all other mind altering substances on December 7th of 2006. And he used what he had available. And at the time at his disposal, what he had was the Portland Police Department.
Fear, right?
Yeah, man. And that's what started it. I kicked on a couch. I walked to AA meetings in the dead of winter in New Hampshire. It's cold as shit. And I didn't have a license for the first 11 months. My first car was a $400 a month Volvo. I lived in a $550 a month apartment that I got when I was a couple months sober, and I was poor as shit. And I went to meetings every day and I did what they told me to do and worked the steps and wrote an inventory and made amends and helped other people and, did what this thing was about. And that's what the early days looked like. It wasn't glamorous. That, all this internet stuff at the time. It's funny. You're like, talking about being an addict or talking about recovery on the internet, wasn't popular when you got sober. Like I got sober before MySpace existed. You know what I mean? Like by the time I got my first MySpace account, I'd already started my first sober house. Think about that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. October 2008, I started the Granite House, 11
Tell
bed.
me about that. How did that come about, man? Because as you know, I feel like we got some similar paths here, man. And you know what I mean. And like, I was 2 years sober, and I just happened to had the opportunity. I'd been in recovery homes and several recovery homes, and I knew what was good, I knew what was bad, but I really had no idea what I was fucking doing. I had no idea, but I had the opportunity to buy this house, and I was like, okay, it's a 5-6 bedroom house. I want to do something. Of course, we're all in recovery, and I want to become a drug counselor, or I want to be open to sober living. That's what we all want in early recovery, right? Yep. But I got the opportunity, and I had no playbook. I had no idea what I was doing, and it just it turned into something truly amazing. And I feel like that's kind of I would love to hear how yours started too.
Dude, I was living in that apartment in the hood, and I was, I'd been walking, and then I got the little Volvo, cheap car to drive around in, and I spent most of my time doing service work at a state-funded detox. This was actually funny. Back then, they called it a social detox, and that was just a really nice way of saying you're not getting any medication.
It's a sweat it out on the bed kind of place.
Funded, they didn't even take insurance, and you just would go there, and they would give you a bed and rock and roll, and that's what it was back then. And I'd be down there doing big book 12-step work with a lot of the guys that spent most of my time there. I wanted to open a sober house. I had lived in a couple up in Maine where there was some, but there wasn't a single sober house in New Hampshire. And so I saw, there's a huge need. These guys were in this 30-day state funded program, coming in and out, in and out, in and out. And so I put together this idea, and me and my dad, he helped me out in the beginning, and we bought a 3-family home in a little town called Derry, New Hampshire, and I had 11 beds, and we bought it, and I moved into it in October of 2008. And so I was 22, I think 22 months sober, and I moved into this thing, and I lived there for the next 2 years. Um, Me and 11 guys, I had no fucking idea what I was doing. But I had a big book and I had some beds, and, I gave it everything I had to give. And I will never live in a sober house again with 11 guys, but I look back at it and it's some of the best times and memories of my life building community with those men. We cooked on the grill together. We fucking did everything together. We ran commitments. We were in and out of the jail, in and out of the detoxes. We were, working steps. We were praying, meditating, writing nightly reviews together. I mean, we were just doing it. And it was a great time. And
Do
then
you miss that? I mean, because like,
listen to that.
huh?
The simplicity. Do I miss? Yeah.
Yes, man. Because listen, I was just talking to my friend Brian Kendrick, and he's the one who was with me when I started and I too moved into this recovery home, and I too lived there for almost 2 years,
Yeah.
and those were some of the like we just started talking about the other day because we're so wrapped up in life. Like I assume you are, like we all are. Like we're on the grind. We're doing this. We're trying to do this. We're trying to get to here. We're trying to find our purpose and live in our purpose. And it's just a constant thing all the time. And we were just talking the other day, like, man, like we need to really think about like how amazing that was. We would have dinners together every Sunday. We'd have these big dinners together where we'd invite the families, and we'd have this huge meeting. And it was just this meeting where people would get pissed and people would cry. And it was just life-changing stuff would happen in that house, I miss the simplicity of it sometimes.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah. You find a way to get back there. Let me know.
But I like stuff nowadays too. So
Yeah.
See,
And
that's the
life
thing.
goes
Like,
on. This thing of life of ours it has seasons and it changes. And, the truth is I look back and God was using me in a big way, in a very impactful way in the lives of those 11 men that I was surrounded by. And then, it just changed and we were called to different things. I grew the program, to a 63-bed extended care program, which was getting clients from all over the country. And then in 2015 pivoted and started opening treatment centers, and everything just exploded. But at the time, you think about it, like you got sober in 2014, you were right in the heyday of people dying, starting to die, fentanyl overdoses, and all of that started happening. And in my, New Hampshire, the Midwest, both very bad areas for that stuff. And so I know Ohio, I've never seen the data on Indiana, but you're close enough to Ohio that I have seen it that I can't imagine it's all that much different. I'm guessing it's probably equally as terrible for y'all as it was for us up here. And that stuff happened. And
I think that's what it was too. Like fear got me sober too. I overdosed a few times, and I literally was watching all my friends die, and I knew,
yeah, I got sober a long time before that. Like when I got sober and for years after I got sober, fentanyl was in patches and lollipops. It's the only time you ever saw it, right?
Yeah.
And people didn't really die from heroin addiction. Like I OD'd 5 times and ended up Narcan and on life support, but that's because I was a freak and I would eat handfuls of fucking Xanny bars and shoot gram shots of dope and like try to kill myself. You know what I mean? It was really uncommon. And I remember when I first got sober, I'd like, on commitments, I'd be like, and I've overdosed 5 times. And the whole crowd would be like, whoa, and then fast forward to like that era. And since then, and like these kids overdose 5 times in a fucking month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, that whole thing happened, which really supercharged a fire within me. And that's when Granite House grew into Granite Recovery Centers and just blew up. And I think that in that era is where a lot of that simplicity was lost for me. and the complexity of treatment centers. And, we grew it to 440 treatment beds, 325 employees. And, you know, it's hard to continue to be a man about the people and know every client by their first name and talk to their mom and, know every employee, and when something becomes that large.
I think that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I get that.
We got 3 treatment centers now. We're opening our 4th and working on our 5th, and and I still have the 5 homes that are pretty much run. I got people that run them. You know what I mean? They do very well, and then I go back every once in a while and I'll try to meet some people, but it's all new faces. 70% of them don't even know who I am, which is cool too. But yeah, I think that's right where I'm at right now is in the process of losing that simplicity. Yeah.
I think that's what keeps us sober, in all honesty. Like for me, someone said to me, if you would chase success the same way you used to chase your dope, you'd be pretty damn good at this whole game, right? Like, why don't you chase the right thing instead of the wrong thing? And I was like, damn, that makes sense. So that's what I started doing. Like, I got into that part of the chaos of my brain and started using it rather than allowing it to defeat me. And because the chaos is still there, I still got 9 million voices giving me 9,000 ideas of a bunch of different things. I just wanted them to shut up for a while.
Those scenarios that aren't even real, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I started using them to my advantage and using that as like my driving force. Now I chase the recovery and success of life the same way I used to chase my dope when I was Christmas morning, sick as hell, just trying to get to my parents' house. But I would find a way. I would get on that phone and I would do my little wheel and deal and make it worthwhile.
You're like, hey guys, I'm going to get some gift cards today and I will be back.
I mean, I had built credit with my dealer. I was on that kind of a level where he would front me whatever because he knew I was good for it one way or another. Like that, when you were building credit in that industry, clearly you're doing it the wrong way, right? So I started
you were a better addict than I was. I just robbed the fucking guy. You know what I mean?
I think that's where it ends up. Yeah,
that's where it ended up. Yeah, I guess that's true. There was a day where I had some credit. I had good credit for a long time. And by the end, like you look, it's just the desperation of this thing. That last robbery I did the day before I got sober with a fucking butcher knife, a kitchen knife behind a building.
You couldn't even afford like a pocket knife.
No, I sold the gun like 2 months before that. I was robbing people the gun. I had a Walter P22 gun and I sold it for $600 when I was dope sick, like 2 months before that. And so I had this big kitchen knife and I robbed a kid and, a big gangster, tough guy. It was for $82. I got him for that was my last robbery. It was $82. And I bought 4 $20 retail fucking bags and I shot him in a fucking closet, hiding from the cops,
It took $82 to get you sober, brother.
No shit.
$82.
Crazy, man.
God doing for you what you could not do for yourself, right there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But if you I thought I was Tony Montana,
It's crazy. Like we think that we're big shit out there, man. Because when I got to the end as well, I mean, I was sleeping outside. You know what I mean? I was sleeping outside. I never got into robbing people too much. If somebody left a bag, I would take the bag, but I didn't get out in the robbery and stuff like that. But I got to the point where I had completely lost my hustle, and I had the fellow drug addicts didn't even want to be around me anymore, and it was hard. Like people didn't even want me in their trap house to sleep. You know what I mean? And that's what it took, is that desperation of being cold out in the middle of fucking winter in Danville, Illinois. And it was like the coldest winter that it had ever seen. Like 11 below or something like that. Yeah. And I'm sleeping outside, man, and I got in a bar fight a week or two before, and I'm hearing this dude got lifeline to Indianapolis, and he might not make it, and all these things. So that's what I talk about, this fear, man, because the fear got me using drugs when I was little to try to be cool and try to fit in maybe with some certain crowds that. Because I couldn't fit in over here. I couldn't fit over here. In this crowd, all you had to do was stick a middle finger in the air and do some drugs, and you were right in. It didn't take a lot. And so fear got me doing drugs. And then I talk about this fear because I was scared I was going to do some real time. I was thinking, man, 20, 30 years, if this dude doesn't make it, who knows, right? Thank God the dude made it. I did a year in the county and 5 years probation, but fear got me sober too. Fear has its place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me, man. So tell me what you're doing today, man. That's this is. I'm kind of look, dude. I'm looking at your life and the similarities from you starting at the bottom in the mud, just like me, starting recovery homes, them being hugely successful, and I don't mean monetarily successful. I mean actually helping a lot of people and what I deem is a whole community of people, because you got the addicts and alcoholics that are in your centers, but you also got the family, the kids, the ripple effect of that, right? And now you kind of I'm going to use this word. You evolved. You evolved and you're evolving, man. There's a lot of switches that happen, shifts that happen, and I'm very curious as to what shift happened from working into treatment and starting your businesses that way, and how did it what came about?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I think one thing is I'm a student of the game, right? A lot of people, I think, limit the size of their cup, and if you limit the size of your cup, it can get full. And if it gets full, that's great. You're full, but you don't have any room for any more.
Yeah.
And so I keep plenty of room in my cup every day to continue to be a student and to continue to learn and continue to grow. And so, with that was I built this addiction treatment business. I scaled it. It got very large. When it got very large, I lost that mom and pops, very much like I can tell about yourself, running the group, seeing the clients with everyone. And all of a sudden this had to be a more professional environment, right? And so I had to professionalize that business in order for it to be successful and survive and continue to grow. In that process, I got interested in, private equity and mergers and acquisitions and how do you sell a business and how do you evaluate a business and what's it worth. And so I really started studying that in 2017, and it was an interesting journey. And so I sold. I had 3 rounds of minority sales through the business in over the course of a couple of years, and then in March of last year, I decided to pursue a complete exit, and that was after 13 years, in the trenches running this business. And for whatever reason, man, I felt moved. I felt tired. I felt like I had just accomplished everything that I was here to accomplish. This thing had grown bigger than I. There was a lot of indicators going on with me personally in my personal life, professionally, that just the seasons of life were changing for me, and it was time for change. And so, I brought the company to market, had a great advisory team. And, over the course, it took me 10 months, and I ended up selling Granite Recovery Centers to a private equity sponsored business called Baymark Health Services. And I closed on that December 21st. And so I sold the business in its entirety. I retained the real estate. Right now, I've been the landlord to the business forever.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
That's
but
genius.
now, yeah, with rising interest rates and uncertain economic future in the real estate markets, and I think we remain in a good market, but I think universally a lot of people agree that the future is uncertain. We're bringing that portfolio to market now, and we'll probably transact and sell the real estate portfolio in the near future.
It's a good time, right?
It's a good time to sell. It is a good time to sell. And I guess, anything's possible. If you had talked to me in March of 2020 when COVID was happening and the markets were crashing, I would have told you that this place was about to be a third world country. Like, I thought we were fucked.
Yeah.
And clearly we've had a great couple of years economically. So what do I know? But it's hard to.
I don't think we've seen all the ripple effects of that yet either.
I agree. And so, so now the day to day is I'm developing a lot of real estate. I'm building a couple little businesses. I'm investing in businesses, and we're busy, but also living life a little bit, man. The New Hampshire addiction treatment, overdoses, politics, just the battleground of what all that was and became and still is, was, a 12, 14, 16-hour day, 365 days a year.
I
Not
get it. I ain't slept in 3 years.
brother. I see you, and I'm, mutually, I'm a fan of the stuff you're doing. And I look at you and I'm like, I don't know that there's many people in the world that understand what your life looks like as much as I do, for people that don't know you personally, right? I look and I'm like, God damn, that looks exhausting. And so, so we're living as well. We're doing fun stuff. We launched a yacht chartering company where,
I seen your boat out there, man, and you out on your jet skis,
yeah,
and I didn't know you I was talking to Brian here, and Brian was telling me like that you charted those things too, and I'm like, of course he does. Why?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's just genius.
Let your toys make your money.
make
Yeah.
money, they're having fun.
Yep.
And so, we're doing a little bit of everything. Where, what's up next right now is I'm building out a coaching program. I'm going to take on some entrepreneurs on a one-to-one basis, and Marty's got his hand up.
Hey, I'll fly out tonight. Well, probably can't tonight. I would like to. I'll fly out. I want to just spend a couple months with you, like right beside you, just like this.
Yeah. I just, I really enjoy teaching. And so here's what's interesting. In the early days of Granite House, I taught every group, right? I mean, at the time, there was I don't know what you guys' recovery philosophy is, but I was a 12-step guy, am a 12-step guy. And when I got sober in New Hampshire, the big book didn't even exist in an AA meeting.
Wow.
Like, just don't drink, meeting makers make it,
No.
work a
No.
year, when no one's actually even working a step. I mean, it was crazy. And so the early days of the passion and the labor of love of that was very much around me teaching. And so the original 11 guys, as much of a conflict as it was the only way it could get done. I was consistently taking those 11 guys, which was a revolving door, through the steps.
Yeah.
And then on a larger and larger scale. And I mean, up until I stepped down as CEO, I don't know, what was that? 15 months ago, something like that, give or take. I still taught groups every day.
Really?
Not every day. That's a lie. So, see, I'm a drug addict when I'm lying to you. But frequently, right? I still was with clients. I was still teaching. I was still speaking. I was still, doing all of that. And so now, away from the recovery business, teaching, I found another passion of mine, which is teaching business and teaching entrepreneurship. And so
you don't know it yet, but I'm your student. I'm going to be your student. So.
sounds good. And so, I really like that. And it's an opportunity. I because I've been a student of the game for a long time, I've built a portfolio of knowledge and tools and connections and resources and skill sets that, if I had been able to engage with me, if past Eric had been able to one-to-one with current Eric 10 years ago, it would have fast-tracked me. The time and money and frustration I would have saved would be unbelievable. And so I'm taking a very small group, very exclusive. I'm not doing big numbers, but I'm going to work with a handful of folks.
11?
Probably less.
I just like the number 11. I thought maybe the symmetricals,
Yeah.
symbolicness of 11.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, planning on doing weekly one-to-ones. And so 11's a lot of people to talk to. And I want to keep it small, and I want to keep it exclusive, because the people that I have in this thing, I want to be able to give them everything I have to give.
Do you have a guest room there? I'm just curious.
That's extra.
I'm sure he's got a few.
That's the immersion program.
So Brian kind of a question. What would you say to your advice?
I'm seeing a big shift in the market myself, right? Like, I'm more concerned with the mental health aspect of what's going on in the current frame that we're living in, because as we know what fear does to people. I believe the fear mongering that's happening on many levels
Oh.
is a little scary. But what looking forward with your experience now, what would it look like is your move? Like I feel like your move right now is a pattern recognition move. Like you're recognizing the pattern amongst yourself that you saw teaching is something that you've been doing since minute one. And so as you recognize the pattern, that's where you're taking your passion, which is amazing. How do people, if you were to speak to our audience, like where does that drive you, and how do you navigate through that while staying in this sober space? Because there's a lot of stress that comes with that, right? Like building anything comes with stress, and that's typically where a lot of us started getting high. And so what does that look like for you on a daily basis? Is that devil still sits on your shoulder no matter what, right? It doesn't just go away. It's always there on some level. And what does that look like? Like we're coming into an interesting space of investing, of business moves. Like everybody's afraid of everything right now. I'm afraid to fill up my car sometimes.
Honestly, truthfully, you know what does it for me? I started off on the run for armed robbery with half a trash bag full of clothes, sleeping on a couch. The big level up, which I've fucking one of the happiest days of my life, was fucking getting the keys to a $550 a month apartment with a fucking busted ass couch. One of those couches when you sat on the cushions, you sank to the floor.
Yep.
And I slept on that thing for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Does it
Just
matter?
be grateful for what you have, right? It doesn't matter. Just
It's
enjoy the
gratitude. And
journey.
like I think of it like this, like I don't think dude, I'm a long ways from getting back to that apartment. Like a lot of shit has to go bad for me to go back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at worst case scenario,
I've already
if I
been.
had to go back to that apartment and I had to go back to that, detox program with the commitments and the meetings and the big book and the George Foreman grill and the family packs of chicken and the ramen noodles, like I was happy then. What would stop me from being happy again?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because a lot of people say that money fixes everything, right? And I don't feel like it fixes anything. It just creates a different type of problem. Like the
Mo
problems are
money,
problems
mo
no matter
problems.
what. They're just
Let me
different.
tell you, money is very much like fucking steroids for life. Whatever you're doing, it's going to amplify it.
Yep.
If you're miserable and unhappy and you're looking to money to fix that, like you're just going to be in way worse condition than you were before you found money. Like, and so money does a lot of things. It provides you access. It gets you cool stuff. It allows. I think the biggest thing that people get fucked up is the difference between freedom and happiness. They're not the same thing.
Yep.
Right? Like self-admittedly, I've done very well, and wealth has allowed me freedom. Right?
Yeah.
Like I can go and do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, but that doesn't make me happy. And happiness is not derived from wealth. It's not derived from freedom, and that's an inside job. And recovery teaches us that. And so a lot of people get lost on the path with that stuff, and it complicates their life. I'll tell you something, you know, on this path, and Marty, you talked about the simplicity, right? Bro, the more success I found, the more complicated this thing gets. You want to see all your relationships in life change? Go sell your business for more than $100 million. I tell you, turn your shit upside down. You only think you know people. And so, all of that stuff, it takes strict discipline. It takes knowing yourself. It just takes chopping wood and carrying the same water that we did in the beginning now. I hope that makes sense.
It
Oh, yeah.
does. It absolutely does. I, you know, going like I think, honest to God, like I got my first apartment, after I did a year in the county, got out to a year's house arrest, and I went into a sober living for about 6 months of that, saved up some money, got my first apartment, and in my first apartment, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a driver's license yet, but I could walk to meetings, I could walk wherever I need to go, but I had a mattress on the floor, no couch, mattress on the floor, and I had been saving, and I did layaway for my first TV at Walmart's,
Yep.
at the old Walmart's. And I had my very first TV that I bought with actually, I didn't buy off my buddy for $20. You know what I mean? Or, a shot of dope. I had my first TV and my couch on my mattress on the floor, and this little one bedroom apartment where it had cockroaches every once in a while and had to do some spraying. But dude, I remember being so fucking happy like that. I literally had been spent the last 25 years in the madness and chaos that is addiction, right? And on the streets and sleeping in and out of prisons and jails and hospitals, and just like, here I am. I got a bracelet on, so I can't really leave my house, and I'm just laying on this mattress watching, you know, I had a DVD player too because I didn't have cable or anything. So I'm watching this same movie over. And Kingpin was the one that comes to my head. I don't know if you ever saw Kingpin, but I'm watching Kingpin for the 30th time, and I'm happy. I'm just like, man, I'm living it, bro. So
And
that,
you look at that, it's just fucking gratitude, man.
yeah.
It's just gratitude. And so it's easy to get lost in all that stuff and the complexities of, more money, more problems. And, now I have a couple crazy houses and a boat and a plane and fucking cars and all this stuff. But it's like just getting back to the basics of like, dude, I didn't wake up dope sick today. And like, I got a place to live, and like
Just
my
like-
fucking dad's proud of me.
Yep. I'm just gonna say that the first time I was.
And no one wants to hear this shit from the guy that has the shit. I used to think the same things. I'd hear these motivational speakers say shit like that and be like, all right, motherfucker, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, give me that shit then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and this is something I know to be a fact too, because then I heard you say this in one of your videos, and I got to really thinking about this. Thank God that everything I've gotten and everything that I've acquired and everything that I've had to work on and build, I've had to. It's took a lot of work. It was really slow, and nothing was just given to me. Like,
Yep.
you said something about, like, if you got $100 million right now, how I would fuck it off. I would completely lose it. I would, it takes, because it's the discipline and all that stuff that you have to, it's inside. It's falling in love with the process is what it takes. Because if I'm just working for that end game, I want to get this, and this, and I'm working for that, I'm never going. If I was to get that, I would just lose it. I got to fall in love with what it takes to get there. And that's one thing it sounds like for you as well. That's the one thing that's kept me grateful and in love with what I do, is that I'm in love with what it takes to get there. Like you said, you was an entrepreneur in 10 years old, and I feel like I was too. It's something that you're either born with or you're not. And so many people out here are trying to acquire it because, as Gary Vee says, it's a trending thing. It's a cool thing, and it's cool to put on your Instagram name that you're an entrepreneur, but are you really,
Yep. No, man, I fully understand and comprehend that, and one thing to finish my previous point was that I was saying is I hope that everyone that thinks that wealth is the answer, I hope they get it. I hope they fucking catch it. Because I hope that they have that moment where they sit back and they're like, well, this isn't what I thought it was. And this shit isn't as cool as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hope they have that moment, because once you're able to ring that bell and finally catch what you've been chasing, it forces you back to look at yourself. It forces you back, right? Once you fucking get there and you scratch that itch and you're like, well, fuck, this is cool, but it ain't that cool. And like, yeah, I got a new fucking whatever type of car and a new whatever, but like the shine wore off of it and it's fucking dirty and needs an oil change. And
now I want that car.
I hated the last one. You know what I mean? Like, but no, you're exactly right, man. It's falling in love with the process, dude. Like December 21st, I sold the business for 9 figures. And the next morning I fucking woke up and drove, almost 2 hours down to Fall River, Massachusetts in the freezing ass cold, looking at some mill buildings and meeting with the mayor because we're going to build some apartments down there. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, most normal fucking people would have a 9-figure exit from their business and like have a fucking trip waiting for them to go to an island. Dude, what is the date today? It's fucking May 17th. I haven't taken a day off. Dude, I sold my business in December. I have not taken a fucking vacation, let alone a day off.
Yeah,
It
and I
just,
think
you
everybody
know, it's awesome.
that's
I love it. I love the shit that I do. You know what I mean? Like, where am I gonna go? I love this shit.
yeah, it's when you're working in your purpose, when you're working, when you have found, and that's what I you know I try to push everybody to do. Don't do that because you like what it looks like. Like there's something inside of you, and that's that drive, that's that motivation, that's that reason why you want to hit your feet hit the floor in the morning. And if you can find that, which I refer to now as your purpose, as your calling, like if you can find that, like you don't work a day in your life. And that's so cliche to say, but it's absolutely true. Like I work 7 days a week, and I've been at this grind for quite a few years. And I really don't feel at the end of the day, people who see my life, they're like, oh my God, Marty, you work, you got to stop, you got to take that. But I don't feel like I do. I feel like I'm in what I'm supposed to be doing. So it doesn't seem like
You know
work.
what? Don't fucking listen to them.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're not what you are. Like, there's a lot of different types of breeds of cat, man. And like, I'm very selective with the people that I fucking let mentor and coach me. And like, those people are fucking well intentioned and probably think that they have your best interest in mind. But like, man, you're not a domestic type of cat. Like, you're not a 9 to 5 guy. Like, that's just not what you are. And they don't understand that, and they don't understand you. And so fuck them, don't listen to them. Hey, love and respect for your journey, brother. That's what you fucking do. That's cool. But like me over here, like I'm doing absolutely everything that is on my heart. And like I'm not gonna regret what I'm doing. Like, and you just have to have enough certainty to turn the noise off. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about it, like, even ask the question, like, what are you doing fucking talking to them about it anyway? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Are they better at this than you? Do they have something to teach you? Did they make more money than you? Do they have a fucking recovery fucking quality that you want to learn? Is it like what value does this teacher bring to my life? Because there's a lot of people out here teaching, but not all of them are our teachers. And fucking if you're like open eared and listening to fucking everyone, it's like trying to tune into every radio station. Like, man, you gotta shut that fucking noise down. And then the people that you listen to are the people that have something to offer, that have something to teach. Like, brother, if you don't, I can learn from fucking anyone, bro. I can learn a life lesson, no bullshit, from fucking the homeless dude fucking in front of Starbucks that I'll still sitting on the curb and spend 45 minutes with fucking talking to. Tell me about your journey, brother. I love doing shit like that. But when it comes to business, like, there's exceptions, but generally, like, if you haven't made more money than me, like, I don't know.
And you're not going to take business.
What the fuck day is today? What day is today? Tuesday. A week ago today, I had dinner with a couple that built a business. Unbelievable story. They built a business that originated loans to healthcare businesses, and then they sold the paper. They packaged the loans and sold those off into the financial markets. And they sold their company for $1 billion
Wow.
in 2017, 5 years ago. And
Wow.
now they've built $600 million of multifamily real estate. And the guy's name's Bobby Castro. His wife's name's Sophia Castro. Salted the earth people, started where we started, minus the heroin. Fucking blue collar, work boots, fucking from nothing, and work their way up. And like, that's a guy I listen to. You know what that guy tells me? I don't work enough. I'm like, all I do is fucking work. What are you talking about, Bobby? You know what I mean?
Well, I think you're right. I can learn anything from anybody, and I take little, and everybody in my circle has got something that I want or that I like or that I resonate with.
being an entrepreneur with a fucking a killer instinct in a recovery circle is a difficult balance because the recovery thing's funny. Whereas if you weren't in recovery and if heroin hadn't fucked your life up, right? You probably would have just been an entrepreneur because you have that thing. And so if you were just an entrepreneur without recovery, then you'd be hanging out with other business owners and other entrepreneurs, and that would be your world.
Yeah.
And so how you live would be the societal norm in your social circle. But recovery fucking equals the playing field. You got people in Section 8 housing fucking hanging out with the lawyer, hanging out with the carpenter, hanging out with the treatment center. Like our lives and who we are, the beautiful thing about recovery.
Yeah.
It equalizes and levels the playing field. But, and so like I can learn about meditation from the cat, that's on Section 8 housing who goes to the fucking yoga. Like, not to say that guy can't teach me something.
But he's not going to teach you. He's probably
on my business life. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? And so that's why it's dangerous. Where like, and I've had sponsors that have done, you got to calm down, you got to take over the world, and you're trying to do all these things. And I've had them, and I'm like, man, be like, let's just stick to step work and God. How about that?
Your job is to walk me through the steps.
100%. Yeah. Guys, I got like 5 minutes left, and I got to wrap. I got to go pick up my son.
Well, let me ask you this one last question, kind of to end it off, because one, I'm going to need that spare bedroom. Two, you don't even get to. Two, so if you was to go back, and this could be two parts if you want. If you was to go back to who you are now, to at the beginning, or maybe when the shift happened, where you started to get in a feel of going from recoveries, 11 people in a house to opening treatment centers. But what advice would you give to yourself 15 years ago or 10 years ago? Or it could be, what advice would you give to somebody just starting off, maybe a mistake that you made, or something you didn't go after because of fear, or somebody, all the voices in your head telling you, or you know what I mean? What advice would you give somebody or yourself 15 years ago about,
The most valuable thing that I did that was instrumental to my success was I continued to invest in myself and the business in more ways than one. And really two main ways. One was financially. I lived for a long time incredibly below my means, and I consistently put all the money back into the operation and back into the business for growth, because growth costs money. And then two, on a daily and weekly and monthly basis, I constantly was learning. And so I became a Swiss Army knife master of all the verticals of the industry that I was in, which, like you, was addiction treatment. So studying and understanding, dude, I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor, but I can fucking run a conversation with my medical director and my clinical director. And I understand the DSM, and I understand all the different models of therapy, and I understand digital marketing, and I understand call centers, and I understand licensing and joint commission and accreditation, and I understand operations, and I understand, you see, digital fucking AdWords and pay-per-click, and and so like just going hard on the information and learning it inside and out. And that really made me incredibly proficient at building that business, was my obsessive nature of wanting more information and knowledge.
And I take it that's the exact same thing you did when you got into, say, real estate and mergers and all that stuff as well. You just become obsessed with it, right? Yeah.
Absolutely obsessed. And people, dude, if you don't know what it's like to fucking, negotiate hours of your sleep to learn more, then me and you aren't the same thing. You know what I mean? Like people are like, well, Eric, I need to get to bed by fucking 10 because I gotta be up at 6. Yeah, I did too, but I went to bed at 2 and I got those 4 hours up on your ass.
I get it, brother. I get
You know
it.
what I mean? Like I drank more coffee. And that's just what it is. And you know, so the pursuit of knowledge, the obsession of information, the work ethic, you know, and the persistence and the ability to circumnavigate adversity, because none of this shit is easy,
Yes.
you know.
All right, Eric. I appreciate you, man. It's been amazing having you on here, man. And I'm looking forward to more conversations and weaseling my way into that guest room. And I
I,
really appreciate you, man. Really.
Yeah, thank you.
absolutely. All right, Keith. Peace.
Thank you.